always feel like I'm in the twilight zone.
Hola everyone, JB Thrills here, back with another video, and today we're talking about Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas. This Six Flags park definitely stands out from the rest, mainly for the fact that its quality is way more than any other Six Flags park in the chain, even Magic Mountain. Sure, it doesn't have a lot of attractions, but its lineup is pretty great and the experience is amazing. Now if it's your first time there, and you're scared of attractions, all these attractions may look intimidating, and it's hard to choose what to ride, because sometimes even rides that don't look scary pack a really big punch. So for those worried on what's the scariest attraction in Fiesta Texas, and for those just curious and want to be a thrill seeker, if you read the title, today we're going to be ranking the scariest attractions of Fiesta Texas. It's not based on thrill level or height, but it's based more on experience and how the ride could be considered scary. For example, if the restraints are really small and make you fly out of your seat, if the ride has really intense moments, and etc. But before I get into the scariest ranking, I would like to say if you like my content and videos, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to know when new videos come out of my channel. If you're a thrill seeker, this is the channel for you. On JB Thrills, we make all sorts of content, all related to theme parks and thrill rides, no matter where they're located. And if you're a thrill seeker in Texas, this is also the channel for you, as any over Texas and Fiesta Texas news I cover on this channel. So if you're interested, stick around. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So, as I was saying, Fiesta Texas has a great collection of attractions, but some are scarier than they look, or aren't as scary as they look. So in today's video, we're going to rank them in terms of how scary they are, and again, it's not based on intensity, it's based on my personal experience. So therefore, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger will not be included on the list, since I have not written it yet. And it's not just roller coasters, it's a mix of flat rides as well. So without further ado, let's get into the top 7 scariest attractions at Six Flags in Fiesta Texas. Kicking off the top 7 list, we have Poltergeist, which is the premier launch coaster at Fiesta Texas. Now remember, when making this list, the ranking is based off of fearful attributes, like suspenseful moments on the ride, and parts of the ride that make you fear for your life, as if you won't survive at the end, which of course you will, but it's a feeling. Now Poltergeist gets number 7, because it does have some of these attributes. Right off the bat, the theme is already a little bit haunting. I mean, it already looks like a haunted house for a Fright Fest. So some people are even scared of entering the queue because something scary might be in it. I've seen guests walk away from the ride, especially younger audiences, just from the sight of these ghosts, which is understandable. But if that doesn't intimidate you, the coaster layout looks pretty wild. And the fact that all the layout takes place with only one lap bar, yes, that's a little bit terrifying. Now the thing that makes the Poltergeist the most scary is the fact that it has a launch. And it's not a launch with a countdown, it's just a random launch. Sometimes even the employees mess with you and give you the wrong count off, or you just get launched with no warning. If it's your first time, sitting in that seat awaiting this terrifying launch can be a lot, and this launch is really forceful. Now as for the rest of the attraction, it starts to become fun, and the fear factor is lost after the launch. There's nothing really scary about the layout itself, and the coaster does have its tame moments. And overall it's fun, which is good, but we're looking for scary, not fun. So now, let's move on to number 6. For number 6, we have the Joker Carnival of Chaos. Now you might be wondering, how is a flat ride above a roller coaster? Well again, it's the fear factor. Starting off with the queue, just like Poltergeist, we have a really intense queue. If you're scared of clowns, this is not the queue for you. From the mind of Jeffrey Sieber and Warner Brothers, the Joker Carnival of Chaos is one of the most themed queues in the park, with a whole funhouse aesthetic, and some portions sure to make you scared, especially if you're terrified of clowns. Now, if you get past the queue, you still got the ride to worry about, and the ride's something else. Sure, we have clones of some parallel rides, but the difference between a Giant Discovery and a Giga Discovery is that a Giga Discovery is way taller, and let me tell you, you feel the height. Only restrained by an over-shoulder restraint, and your legs dangling freely, you will feel that airtime when you reach the top. Sometimes the ride goes so high up that you do start to feel like you're going upside down, and while sure you don't, which is probably the reason why it's not high up on the list, it gets pretty close to that. And with the added feature of the gondola spinning, if you're at the max height facing the ground, you'll feel that height even more. So if you hate heights, hate spinning, hate the feeling of freedom on attractions that are scary, hate airtime, and are afraid of clowns, this ride is terrifying. The funny part is, this clown prince of crime isn't the scariest attraction here. So let's get to number 5. For number 5, we have the one that always beats the Clown Prince of Crime, Batman the Ride. Yes, this is a free spin, but it's different than most in the Six Flags chain, and here's why. Batman the Ride was actually the world's first SNS free spin, and if you think that doesn't matter, it does. You see, Batman the Ride at Fiesta Texas tends to flip way more than any of the other free spins in the Six Flags chain. I can't put my finger on why, but it could be because it was the first, or because Fiesta Texas is just superior. Either way, this ride's more terrifying than it looks, especially if you go backwards. If you don't know, the coaster has an option of either sitting forwards or backwards. And yes, they do make a difference. While sure, you go backwards at some point in the attraction, as the coaster has a unique layout, starting off backwards is more terrifying. You see, this coaster has an elevator lift, so going up feels like forever. And when you're sitting backward, you cannot see when the drop's coming. So when the coaster just flips you head over heels, like it's nothing, you will not be prepared. And with the restraints not giving you much grip, it makes it even worse. And like I said, Batman the Ride flips a lot. So going backwards, not seeing where you're going, and flipping lots of times, it's a disorienting experience and does not feel natural. Now don't assume because Batman the Ride is like this that all the free spins are the same. They're not. Batman the Ride is the exception. So you have to ride specifically the one at Fiesta Texas to feel that. Unless you're lucky at some other free spin. Now if you think this is really scary, then you're not prepared for X2 at Magic Mountain. Anyways, 5 is a good spot for this coaster, but let's see number 4. For number 4, we have the Crow's Nest, which is the Ferris wheel at Fiesta Texas. Yes, the Ferris wheel is scary. No, it's not from personal experience, because personally I like the attraction. But I can tell from all the guests and my personal friends that majority of them are very intimidated from this attraction. It's very classic and just harmful fun, right? Wrong. See, you're stuck up in the air, about 100 feet tall, it's windy so the seats rock, you have no seatbelts, no windows so it feels like it's really unsecure, and let's say the weight is not evenly distributed, the gondola is tilted, so extremely sketchy. And honestly, it feels like the Ferris wheel can break at any moment, or you could just fall out like it's nothing. Because with those gaping holes, you clearly can't. Now yes, it's family friendly and very gentle compared to Batman the Ride, but never underestimate a Ferris wheel. They can bring a fear you never know you had. Just imagine being stuck at the very top and there's no way of getting down. Yeah, exactly. Cool views, scary experience if you don't like heights. Especially if you like to feel secure on attractions. Now before I get to number 3, I want to give an honorable mention, which is Slingshot. The only reason why I did not include it in the top 7 list is because slingshots are pretty much everywhere. And we all know they're sketchy or have had accidents, and I've seen those videos related to this type of attraction. So I'm disqualifying it, but it is a scary attraction that I wanted to note. Anyways, let's get to top 3. We're now in the top 3, and the bronze medal is going to Scream, the SNS Combo Drop Tower. Yes, you've seen this again and again, but these are pretty terrifying attractions. All drop towers are. And you can't lie, that little waiting period you have before the ride drops, it's a little scary even if you're brave. And while sure, Scream is not as intense as Superman at Over Texas, the cool thing about this flat ride is that it has different modes. You got the regular mode of the attraction going up slowly and then dropping, or the launching mode. Either way, suspense is in both, as you either suspensely wait until the launch, or suspensely wait until the drop. So basically, the suspense of this attraction is not for all audiences. Which is funny considering the attraction is themed to a drive-in theater, which is honestly amazing, and I hope Fiesta Texas invests in more theming for this ride, because a movie theater themed drop tower would be so cool. Anyways, on to silver medal. In silver medal, we got the Soaring Eagle zipline. Yes, this is an upcharge attraction, but because it's an upcharge, people don't realize how scary this attraction is. If you haven't ridden it or heard of it, like I said, it's an upcharge where you pay to go on this zipline that takes you over Superman, then stops at the edge of a cliff, then drops back down at a high speed. Sure, it seems like nothing, but then you actually ride it. The restraints for this attraction is literally just a little seatbelt, the same seatbelt that you would see in a car, and you're going pretty high up. Now if that already scares you, you also have the seats. The seats are very thin and they're slanted at an angle, meaning you feel like you're tilted over the edge. And for someone who's tall or big, you'll feel like you'll fall out. I'm dead serious. In my case, I'm tall and my legs go way over the seats. So I really had to grab onto the chair because I felt like at any moment I could slip out and fall over the edge. And while it is a surreal experience getting to see Fiesta Texas in that way, and it is cool, it still has the same suspense as Scream, just at a higher level, because you don't know when you're going to go down. And then even on the way back, it's still scary because you're going at such a high speed that when you encounter the wall that stops you, it stops so fast, you get a quick pop of airtime where again you'll feel like you fall off a chair. Luckily you don't, but I'm very surprised that no one has fell out because just some little seatbelts don't seem very safe to me. Though what I can say is that this is definitely one of the most worth of charge attractions ever. It's a great experience and it's worth the extra fee, so I highly recommend, but again, if you're scared of what I just mentioned, it might be a pass for you. Anyways, now let's see our winner. And the winner of the most scariest attraction at Fiesta Texas, while not surprising, is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. And no, it's not because of the intensity of the attraction. While it does play a factor, this coaster is a combination of everything everyone fears. Let's say you're so scared of riding an attraction, but to make you feel better you get to go with your best friend and sit next to them and they'll hold you on the attraction. And it's better to go in a group, right? Well, not for this coaster, you're all alone sitting by yourself. So you get to be scared by yourself. Want to sit in the front so you get less intensity? Too bad, they pick your seats for you. So if you're scared and you get last seat, man, you're gonna get thrown out of your seat. Speaking of that airtime, if you're scared of being flown out of your seat, this coaster gives no exemptions to anyone. You will be thrown out of your seat, especially if you're last row, and if you're last row, you will not make contact with your seat throughout the entire ride duration, because the airtime is wild. Hate going upside down? It has that. Hate high speeds? It has that as well. Restraint that'll make you feel like you're gonna fall out? Also has that. So overall, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster is a really scary coaster. Now, I'm not saying for you not to ride it. In fact, I recommend that you ride it. But I'm just giving you a heads up, because if you think it's not that bad, it's that bad. It's fun, but if you get traumatized easily, this is not the coaster for you. And maybe you should work yourself up before you get to this point. Anyways, Wonder Woman took the W, and this is my personal opinion on rankings for the scariest attractions at Fiesta Texas. Now the main reason for making this video is not to make you afraid of these attractions, but instead give you a type of ranking to know which coasters you have to work up to. If it's your first time riding a roller coaster, do not start with Wonder Woman or Screaming Eagle Zipline. Start with the better attractions that go a little bit slower or is more chill. And notice the attractions that are missing, like Skyscreamer or Superman. They're not top 7 because they're not scary. In fact, they're really fun, and Skyscraper is actually very relaxing. So definitely keep that in mind for your next trip at Fiesta Texas, and know which rides you want to do first, so that way you don't jump to a crazy ride that'll make you traumatized for the rest of the day. Especially when you have a kid that just crossed the height limit and has never been on an intense coaster yet. Anyways, what do you think of my ranking? And is there a scarier attraction than Wonder Woman? Comment down below. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is JB Thrills signing out.